Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are back in my new bullet journal to set up my January monthly spreads and my first weekly of the month. And again, I am still trying to push myself to draw more each month, so I was inspired by a sticker sheet that I already had from Sticky, but I did try to do a lot of drawings and doodles for this month's setup. So we will go ahead and jump right in with outlining on my calendar page. Typically for my start of the month page, I will do a doodle or some type of art on one page as my cover page, and then on the adjacent page, I will create a calendar so that I can have an overview of the month to refer back to as the month goes along. And this part of the setup is pretty simple, but it definitely helps me to get the most out of using my journal every month. And as I go through today's setup, you'll notice that I'm using a lot of the same supplies that I used in my start of journal spread. So I will be using Sakura Pigma Micron pens, as well as a lot of Tombows. I'm not using as many of my Ohuhu markers for today's spread, just because I'm wanting to try using some different supplies that I have. And then of course I will be using a couple washi tapes and stickers, and I will let you know where those are from as I use them. I've been holding on to this sticky sheet that inspired today's journal setup for quite a while, and personally I love ducks. I actually collect quite a few duck plushies, so I've really been wanting to use this one, but my main holdup that prevented me from using it was that I never felt like I had enough stickers on the one sheet from Sticky, because I got it as part of one of their sets and they typically highlight a few different artists per set. So I never felt like I had enough of that particular sticker sheet to be able to use it for an entire monthly setup. And now that I'm pushing myself to draw and create more art in my journals, I definitely was excited to be able to use this sticker sheet, because I finally felt like between my drawing and between the stickers themselves, I would have enough to fill up the full month instead of running out of duck stickers halfway through the month and not knowing what to do. So I'm really happy that I am pushing myself to draw more this year, because I think it's going to help me to use a lot more of the art supplies that I've accumulated over the last couple of years. One thing that I did learn in creating this cover page drawing was that I don't want to leave the hair in my drawings so freeform in the future. I had left it pretty open to fill in with the markers because I was inspired by some artwork that I saw on Rednote and the style of art that the particular creator that posted typically uses. They traditionally don't lay any outlines for their artwork, and then they use line work to create the artwork. So that was initially what I was trying to go for, but I was feeling pretty unsure about how the hair had turned out even after I had added in all the colors. But I do think that once I went back in with my Pigma Micron and I outlined everything, it looked much better and came together how I was hoping. And of course, the lesson for me with my bullet journal is that I have to accept that it's not going to be perfect every single time I create something. And I've talked about this a lot on my channel, that bullet journaling has really helped me to break out of the perfectionism that I have always really struggled to overcome. So even though I wasn't 100% sure how the hair was turning out on this drawing as I was filling it in, I did end up feeling really happy with the final product for it, and I'm definitely going to continue to learn what I prefer for my art style and my art process as I continue to draw each month and try out different techniques and different styles. It is so satisfying to watch this back as I'm outlining the drawing. I just feel like it really brought everything together and added that extra pop off of the page. So if you're trying out some new art techniques yourself, just keep trying things. I promise that over time, I definitely feel like I have gotten better, and I've really only just started on this journey of drawing more in my journal. So I promise you will definitely feel the same thing as well. Or if you don't, you'll learn what you prefer and what you don't prefer. So keep trying, keep working hard at it. I know I'm going to be doing the same this year. So if you have any advice or any techniques that you could share with me about how to improve my drawing or coloring skills, I would love to hear them down below. If there are any tutorials or online classes that you've taken to help you with these skills, please let me know, because it's definitely something that I want to improve throughout the year. The washi tape that I'm using here was actually a washi tape that I got as part of the Ikigai paper advent calendar last year, I believe. And then I'm also using an older washi tape that I had from an Archer and Olive journaling kit. Now, I'm no longer a subscriber to the Archer and Olive monthly kits, but I did really enjoy them when I was getting them. They typically came with some stickers, some washi tape, as well as some decorative paper, and I do really enjoy using all of those things in my journal. I just started to accumulate enough that I did not want to continue to receive it monthly, but it is something that I'd recommend if you're starting out and need some supplies. And the Ikigai paper advent calendar I also repurchased this year, and I absolutely loved everything that Hedda included in it this year. It was really amazing, and I feel like she has just continued to make it feel even more worth the value every single year, and I'm a big fan of her art, so of course I would love it regardless. But if you're interested, I do think she's selling some of the sticker sheets that were included in the advent calendar on her storefront, Ikigai Paper, and I'll link that down in the description box for you in case you want to head over there and check it out. And now that we're done with my cover page, we can move into the setup that is always second in my monthly pages, which is going to be my workout tracker. And for my workout tracker, I am literally just creating another calendar overview of the month, but I make the boxes for each day a little bit bigger so that I can track my workouts for the day, my resting heart rate for each day, and my steps for each day. And I use a lot of data from my Fitbit to do this, but you honestly do not need to have a health tracker or a smartwatch to be able to do this. If this is something that you're interested in, of course, if you work out, you can simply record your workouts, but you can also track things like steps by using a cell phone, or you can buy a simple step counter. They're normally pretty cheap. And for measurements like resting heart rate, that is something that you actually can measure yourself. All you need to do is have a way to keep track of the time, and there are tutorials and information online that can explain that process to you. So please don't feel like you can't make use of this type of spread if working out and your health are important to you and you don't have a smartwatch, because there are definitely ways to get around that. But as I was yapping, I was just adding a little bit more detail to my spread. So I went ahead and did a header bar in each of my calendar boxes in one color, and then I did some second line highlights in a different color just to add a little bit more to the spread and make it a little more interesting to look at. And now I am working on my decoration around the page. So I did this super cute little duck doodle as he's trying to weightlift at the top of the page, and then I'm using those same washi tapes and stickers that I previously mentioned to add a little bit more around the edges. And the last thing I need to do to finish my workout tracker is to go back in and outline everything with my Pigma Micron now that my markers have had a minute to dry a little bit, as well as adding in my headings for the days of the week and numbering my calendar so that I'll be able to use it throughout the month. And that will bring us to the end of my workout tracker, so we can now move on to set up my sleep tracker and my habit trackers for the month. I know I've already talked a lot about how I'm making an effort to draw more in my journal this year, but I did just want to note that if you've watched any of my older videos and my older journal setups, you might have noticed that I used a lot of printed and pre-cut stickers, and I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially when I have a month where I don't have as much time to set up my pages. It has definitely helped me in a pinch. But because I was so used to using stickers and pre-cut and printed items in my journal, I was pretty daunted about how long it would take me to set up my monthly pages with the change to doodling and drawing so much. And I have to tell you that I've been really pleasantly surprised both with setting up my new yearly spreads and this month's spreads, that I'm not really finding that drawing feels like it is taking significantly longer to set up my spreads, and I'm finding a lot more enjoyment from my journal. So I definitely would recommend it if you're someone like me who has previously used a lot of stickers to try out just drawing a little bit more in your journal. And when I actually use this sleep tracker, I will just record the time that I go to sleep and the time that I wake up so that I can have an overview for the month of how many days I'm actually able to achieve 8 hours of sleep per night. And now that that page is done, we'll move on to my habits, and I'm going to do a little movie magic for you so that you don't have to watch me sit here and just outline these little boxes from start to finish. But you might have noticed that I do have quite a few habit boxes this month, and I typically am only tracking about 6 to 8 things. This month I have 12, and that is because these are going to tie directly into my personal curriculum for the month. And I wanted to make sure that I'm able to record my personal curriculum habits and activities on my monthly spreads as well, because I feel like that's made a significant difference in my adherence to these activities in the past when it comes to the ones that I typically track each month. So my personal curriculum will span a few months. I typically do them on a semester basis, as in a school semester, and I wanted to make sure I could record them on a monthly basis as well. And with the last couple of stickers added, that will complete my sleep tracker and habit tracker. So we can now move into the final pages that we're going to set up together today. And I'm going to do an intention spread for the month as well as my first weekly. And the first week of the month is short, so I did go ahead and include a little duck drawing because I won't need that many days on my first weekly. But I'm very excited to have some space to do some intentional planning for the month and to set my goals to start the year off right. And I wanted to keep both of these pages fairly simple in their setup, but I am going to make use of quite a few stickers and other things that I previously printed and cut just to bring a little more interest to the pages and make them look a little bit better. And if you're wondering why I am making this cute little duck guy a teal green color, it's because I wanted to try to make him look a little bit like a mallard. And there are some stickers in my duck sticker sheet that look like they're supposed to be mallards as well. So I kind of wanted to make him match their color scheme in the hope that it would tie in the sticker sheet even more with my drawings. And I know he looks a little funny as I'm adding all the color first, but this is just going to be a trust the process moment, so just bear with me. As soon as I get those outlines in, it will bring him all together and he's going to look great, but he just has to have his little ugly duckling phase while he is only colored in for the time being. And as promised, here is where the magic happens. So I told you to trust me and just wait and trust the process. He definitely looks much, much better once he is outlined and has that pen in there. It definitely helps to highlight his features and separate the aspects of the drawing a little bit. So I'm actually really, really happy with how he turned out. I wasn't sure about the mallard coloring for this one, but I'm really glad that I just committed to it. And I think he turned out super, super cute. And with the bulk of the drawing done, I just need to add a few more touches here to finish off these two spreads. So I need to go back in and outline everything, as well as fill in my little calendar overview there at the top of the page. That is something that I've really been enjoying including on my weeklies lately. And then also add all those fun stickers that I previously mentioned, just to make the page a little bit more interesting. I've been really inspired by a lot of creators that I've seen online, especially folks that use Hobonichi planners primarily for memory keeping, and I'm really wanting to work on doing more layering in my journals and pasting in more things. So I am getting a mini pocket printer that I'm hoping will help to make it a little bit easier to print out stickers from my own experiences so that I can do a little bit more memory keeping. But if there are things that you do to help to bring a little more scrapbooking and memory keeping into your own journal, I would love to hear what those things are and how you stay on top of it, because I feel like that is the hardest part for me with memory keeping, is falling behind and having to take the time to catch up. And that is going to bring us to the end of setting up my pages for this month. So let's take a flip back to the cover page and take a slow flip through all the pages we set up today. And that is going to bring today's video to a close. So as always, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and I can't thank you enough for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!